Pleasure to see all of you. It's been maybe a cold day outside, but there's been lots of hot air in this place as a result of the autumn statement and what's been going on. Now, in relation to my position on this particular issue, and indeed the viewpoint, quite clearly, is that I sit as the chairman of the all-party group for British Hindus, and have been obviously heavily involved with the British Hindu community for more than 30 years. What I can say, above all else, is that the issue of legislation on caste has most certainly generated more interest and more involvement from the British Hindu community than any other issue that I've ever encountered. I think, whichever side of the argument you're on, there's no doubt whatsoever it is involved. We have a position, quite clearly at the moment, where the Equality Act of 2010 put caste as a protected characteristic, and a characteristic then that was open to enforcement and would then lead potentially to various different court action if people felt they'd been discriminated against. I won't go through all the history. No doubt other speakers can talk about the history of where it got to in the last Parliament. Clearly, from both the coalition government and what happened in the House of Commons versus what happened in the House of Lords, is I think it's fair to say the two houses did not agree on the overall position and what should happen. So where we are now is that the government have launched or are about to launch a consultation on the position of should caste be a protected characteristic at all. It will give the community the opportunity to not only say should this be done, and the difference between this consultation and previous consultations is very different, because the intention here is to give the community the opportunity to put its point of view very strongly, one way or the other, on whether this should be a subject for legislation or not, and whether we should repeal the legislation on one side, or alternatively, actually enforce it. So that's the basis of the consultation. Now I hope that this will encourage people to respond to the government in a vigorous way. And my understanding is the government have given the commitment to launch this consultation before the end of this calendar year. It will be a 12-week consultation, and therefore that will take us a period of time. Obviously, I suspect that they'll lengthen the 12-week consultation limit slightly, because if they release it, as they might do, just before Christmas, then there may be accusations of not allowing sufficient time and so on. And there's quite clear an appetite to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to input to this process. So that's where we're at right now, and this does give the opportunity for everyone to have their say. Now I can tell you which side of the argument I'm on, because I'm very clear on this. I think that caste should not be legislated in this way. It should be removed from the statute book, and the protections on discrimination generally are already there. I'm not a lawyer, but my learned friends who are lawyers have looked at this in detail, and quite clearly there's no need for this in legislation. And even if there was a need for it in legislation, how do you define it? How do you control it? It is a nightmare on all sides. I take the view that it's completely unnecessary interference. I also take the view that there may have been caste discrimination when the first generation of Indian or ex-Indian African Indians arrived in this country, but actually it's done and dusted. Because if we're now in a position whereby we are to third or fourth generation people of Indian origin that have come to this country, we are in a position whereby caste is almost a thing of the past. We are in a position whereby, if we have this in legislation, be very clear. It has to be monitored and it has to be enforced. So you who have children or grandchildren who don't know what caste they are will be told when they come home that we say, "Mummy, Daddy, what caste are we?" Because our teacher has asked us, so we make sure we're not discriminated against. And the position will be that people will be saying, we're creating caste consciousness where, frankly, in this society now, none exists. Now, I would say to you, that is not a route we want to go down at all. Equally, all employment would have to be monitored. All local authorities would have to monitor this. It would be a bureaucratic nightmare of proportions that I don't think the Hindu community in this country want to see happen at all. So that's on the practical side. The other issue is, and I know there are, as I look around, many friends who will take a view on this, but actually this is another impingement of the British establishment on the Indian population. And wearing my honorary Hindu hat, I should say I don't necessarily agree with that position, but I know there are several people that take this as a particular view. So I am very clear. I want to see this removed from the statute book forthwith. I see the consultation as an excellent opportunity for the community to put that case very, very strongly. And what I would say to all of you is, don't sit back and hope that someone else puts the case for you, but make sure that you, the organisations you represent, and everyone else that you know, your family, friends and others, all input to this process, to make sure that the government get a very loud and very clear message that the British Hindu community do not want this, reject having this in law, and want it removed from the statute book forthwith.